I flew to New York and I didn't know anybody. I sat next to Dennis Miller, and Damon Wayans was on the plane, and the other people from LA, that's who they picked. And then the women were, so downtown Julie Brown, she sang The Prom Queen's Got a Gun. She had a big hit. And Jennifer Tilly and Pam Madison.
Oh, wow.
Who also
God, this plane made it.
And Pam was
bad for American entertainment.
Pam should have got it. I mean, she was great.
Really?
I don't know how she didn't get it, but she should have. But anyway, so we all go. And the funny thing is, I remember Dennis Miller had a hat, and I thought he was bald, and I don't know. I go, this guy must be bald. And Damon has all his hair. It turns out Dennis had his hair, and Damon was bald. That's the stuff you remember. And then Dennis goes, "What do you do?" I go, "I do this liar character." And Dennis always says, "Yeah." I thought, okay, this guy doesn't have a chance in hell. Liar.
He said three words you didn't understand and moved on.
And then then they flew us, and then you talk about a big room with everyone staring. So it's Minskoff a theater in New York, so it's called Minskoff Rehearsal. So it's this huge room. So they say to us, "Oh, you're going to audition, and they probably won't laugh." And I said to Fred, I'd started trying to write some stand-up routine. I just
Dr.
at
Fred.
the Groundlings, Dr. Fred Weissman, dentist. Should I do my stand-up? He goes, "No, because you're competing against professional stand-ups." She's like, "Don't do it." Okay. And he was for me, and he was trying to help me.
Yeah.
So they said they probably won't laugh much. So we get to the audition, and there's like, instead of 10 guys, there's 9.
Right.
One guy didn't show up. He was too freaked out. So Wayans is like, if I get it, I get it. I don't. I don't care. It's not that big a deal. So he goes in the room. He comes out 15 minutes later. He's black. He comes out, he's white. Pale, sweating. His eyes are glazed over.
Yeah.
It's like he just went into the war and came out and like, what happened? He was like shell shocked. And I go, "My God, what happened to you? What happened?" He's just like, So then I went in, and then they're just talking, and I'm standing there for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, so finally I clap my hands. I go, "Okay, hello, let's go. You ready?" I'm just standing there. Like,
Perfect.
So I did my characters, and they were laughing, and it was about 4 minutes. And then Lawrence says, "Well, do you have anything else?" And I was like, "Oh, well." I go, "Okay, well, here's what I would do if, say, like between sketches." And so I figured I'd do my stand-up because he wanted more. So I started doing it, and like no one's laughing.
Oh boy!
And then in my head, I'm bombing, and in my head, for some reason, I'm like, "Keep going." So I did the whole thing. No one laughed. I go, "Okay, thanks." So I leave the room. Now I look like Damon. I'm sweating. My eyes are glazed over. And I understood why. Yeah, because you felt like I blew it. I just blew the biggest opportunity in my career. And I was so desperate. So then later that day, Pam Madison says, "John, I'm going to St. Patrick's Cathedral to light a candle to pray I get the show. Do you want to come with me?" I go, "I'm Jewish." And I go, "Yes, I'll come with you." I'm like, "Yes, anything." I go, "Let's do it." So I light a candle. I'm like, "Jesus, I know I'm Jewish, but if you get me this show, I'll convert. I'll believe in you. Just come on. Just, you're Jewish too. Like, come on, cut a brother a break." So anyway, so then the next day, they go, "We're putting you on tape."
Oh, wow.
So like you, I'm always late. So this time I was early, though.
Perfect.
I was early. It was to be there 4:30. I got there at 4:20. And then I'm waiting in this room, and I'm waiting, and I'm nervous as hell. And it was like 4 hours before I got put on tape. So I was like nervous and walking around. Then I started getting sleepy after about an hour to an hour and a half. And I'm like, and then I turned the TV on, and Humphrey Bogart's on, so I watched that, And then I went into the studio where they're shooting it, and I saw Dennis Miller on camera, and he's goofing around. He's really loose. I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." So then Randy Quaid was already cast. So anyway, I'd met him once before, so I said, "Hey, I had this other thing I do. I did it for him." He goes, "Well, that's funny." So then finally it's my turn after 4 hours of waiting. So I go in the studio. It's about 8:30. So Lauren goes, "You want to do your liar character?" I go, "Well, I already did that yesterday." He goes, "Yeah, that's true." He goes, "Well, what about this?" So I did some stuff, and he goes, "Let's see Randy next to you." So Randy stands next to me, and Randy goes, "Why don't you do that piece about your grandmother?" Like I'd done it for him in the hallway.
Right.
So what it was Randy's about 6'4",
Yeah.
and he was on my left. So when I did the sketch in the Groundlings, I did it with Tim Stack, who's also 6'4", and he'd be on my left. And it was two soldiers. Tim had already done the piece, and we wrote I got in the company. We were friends, so he goes, let's write you a monologue, and then you can be in the sketch with me. So I wrote this monologue where we wrote it together.
Sure.
So it was about how we got to the front lines. And it was a ridiculous story, you know. In World War I, we're in the trenches. How'd you end up here, you know? So I started doing it. I go, well, how did I end up here? I go, what the hell was it? I don't know. I go, that's a lot. Something like that. I forget. I go, how did I end up in the war? I go, well, a uniform came in the mail one day. No, a box came in the mail one day. Wrapped inside was a uniform with my name on it. Grandma got to it first. She didn't want to lose the only man who'd rub her feet. So she put it on, took my place. Nobody knew. You see, Captain, that uniform fitted like a glove. Right after you added about 10 yards of spandex material. Grandma's what you call a hefty cow. Oh, she liked to eat. In fact, she was quite the chowhound. Oh, who am I kidding? She was a fat pig. Anyway, when her platoon boat hit the beach, the old beef cow rolled off the deck, got stuck under a barbed wire fence. And I lost my old grandmother. The army, they sent for me again, and now I'm here. Oh, my God. So I did a quick version. But anyway, when I said the thing, when I looked at him, I go, you see, Captain? And I looked up at him, right? So when I did that in the audition, in my mind, I went, oh, he's like Tim. Like tall like Tim. Right. So I did a double take. So I went, you see, Captain? And then I looked again, I went, oh. I wasn't trying to be funny. Anyway, that move, Al Franken thought that was the funniest thing ever.
So that helped sell it.
That's got me the job, that move.
So that's what you do, kids.
And then I got the show. And then Al said, I go, how did I get the show? He goes, well, you know, you were everything we weren't looking for in one person. I go, oh, thanks. I go, well, how did I get it? Well, you were funny. I was everything they weren't. Now Lauren says he said that. I don't know who said it. It's like, okay, well, who wants to take credit for the insult? You're everything we weren't looking for in one person, but you were funny.
That's perfect.
So I said, Al, what do you mean? He goes, well, we wanted like a leading man, like a Tom Hanks type. I go, well,
oh, well.
You know, he still laughs about that. I go, thank you, Al.